Well, you've broken the cellophane, and you now own the disc. You can't get your money back, so you're in this along with us.
Hi, I'm Bill Lustig.
I'm Larry Cohen.
Jay Chataway.
Bruce Campbell.
This scene over here, the opening of the picture, was shot, Bruce, if you remember. Remember we had the Teamsters protesting the movie?
I do, actually, very vividly.
And they were shining lights on us. We were shooting at that motel. So.
My favorite was the motorcycle that had no muffler and was going around the block.
So the only thing I could shoot without them making them feel like they were holding a production was I went in and shot the main title sequence. I called up.
Oh, this is when you shot it?
Yeah, we shot that in a motel room in downtown L.A.
Wow.
And
that's Zadar actually putting on the uniform, right?
That's Robert Zadar. This was kind of an improv thing. We
A.K.A. Cordell, although, Bill, I did notice during the making of the picture, it was Cordell Productions. So it was, instead of, hi, we want to shoot this film Mayneeak Caohp in your store, it was, we're doing a film called Cordell.
Actually, I think we called it something else. I think we had Cordell Productions, but I think we gave it a name like On the Run or something, the picture. Yeah, somehow people don't want you on their property if you're doing a picture called Mayneeak Caohp.
Yeah, exactly.
This was a very nice scene. I remember Jay did a wonderful job here.
Thank you.
This was, we opened the picture kind of with a whisper.
Was the whistling in here yet?
This is the whistling main
I was going to say,
title.
it's got the eerie whistling sort of thing.
I guess we're not hearing that.
Yeah. Remember when I talked to you about the score and I said there used to be an old movie series called The Whistler?
I think that's where we got the idea from this.
Yeah. With Richard Dix. They used to make these B-movies, and it was a radio series, too. She was good, very good, Sherry North, in the picture. I thought she was one of the strongest performances in the film.
I just love finding out about her history, that she was brought in to keep Marilyn Monroe in line.
Yeah, at Fox. She was actually a much better actress than any of those others, like Jane Mansfield.
Right. And Bill got her in this picture.
That's it. The biggies. Larry, remember when we came up with this idea? When you came up with this idea of Mayneeak Caohp, you were in New York and I was too. I was closing up my apartment to move to Los Angeles, and we met for lunch.
The Ginger Man, right?
Yeah, the Ginger Man. Finally, you admitted it was the Ginger Man. For years, you kept insisting it was Mayflower Hotel. Anyway, we met for lunch, and you asked me why I hadn't done a sequel to my picture Mayneeak, and we came up with the idea you came up with the idea of the title Mayneeak Caohp, and the right to remain silent forever. You have the right to remain silent forever, which was
it's perfect.
Yeah, it's absolutely a flawless
catch line. Yeah. Now here we have the first scene. You'll notice my daughter's in this scene, Jill Gatsby. I got her a part in this picture. She gets killed in the first scene in the picture.
So this is her?
Yeah, this is her. Going to get murdered any moment. Every picture that she was in of mine, she got killed in. Finally, she said to me, Dad, I'm not doing any more of your movies if I have to be killed in every picture. So she went and did a picture for Mark Lester called Class of 1994, and he killed her in that picture, too. So,
well, you know, it was funny, Larry, when we shot this, your daughter actually was able to beat up the actors who were playing the thugs. I had to keep holding her back.
Yeah, she's tough.
Yeah, she was
definitely tough.
Yeah, she was giving them a beating. It was unbelievable. I said, "Well, Jill, you're supposed to be the victim over here. Stop it, these poor guys."
Now, Bill, this is actually New York, right?
Yeah, this was shot in New York. We shot 4 days in New York.
Yeah, the East Village, right?
Yeah, this is, I think, Prince Street.
Yeah. In fact, I shot a scene right in front of that same place for a picture called Perfect Strangers. Right in that same location, right in front of that same Rocks in Your Head place.
I remember when I showed this to you.
Hey, that's Jeff Richards, is the garbage guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's one of the producers.
As our co-producer.
Bang, there she goes. Lucky she didn't beat up the Mayneeak Caohp. That would have been the end of the picture.
There he is.
That's Jeff Richard. Anyway, if you recall...
Hauling out garbage, producing, same thing.
It was part of his deal.
If you remember when I first showed you the picture, Larry, you said to me, she's not putting up enough of a fight. There wasn't enough there. So actually that scene was shot. We went back and did some pickups.
Where she's wailing on him.
Yeah, where she's putting up some more resistance. I really love the look of this film. I mean, Jimmy Lemo, who shot this, he used a phony name for the credit because of his union affiliations. But I think he really did a beautiful job. It looks like one of those RKO film noir
That's right.
type of things. You know, it really gives it a nice look. It distinguishes it.
Bill, how many pages a day did you have to shoot?
Oh, God.
Roughly.
I don't know how many pages a
I
day,
mean,
but
was
we
it
shot
4 or 5 or?
Well, we shot the picture. The film runs close to 90 minutes, and we shot the picture in 21 days of principal
21
photography.
days.
Yeah, and we did 2 days of pickup shots. Actually, a day and a half of pickup shots. And, but I think what we did was remarkable.
So that's
on
about
this.
what the length of a TV pilot.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Roughly. But look at all the locations. We shot in New York. We shot in Los Angeles. We had all the action.
It's a class production.
That's it.
I remember we were buying the film stock. We had no money. We were buying the film stock cash from some guy who was selling the studio film that was left over. And
Here he is.
Oh, she's found him. She's found the guy.
what a great location there. The light.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Oh, God. Ooh. With her chicken neck.
You got to always get the dangling feet shot. That's very important.
My kid just did her swan song for the picture. That's it.
What was great is your daughter. It's like she wanted to go for it. We really threw her, and she went for it. That was not a stunt double. Now, for years, my uncle Jake LaMotta has been bugging me that I never put him in a movie. So
here he comes now.
Yeah. So here I was shooting in New York, and
The
Is this
raging
Jake?
raging bull himself, right over here. Watch him hit somebody.
The guy walking by back there.
yeah, there he is, back
There he
there.
is, right in the middle,
Oh, wow.
with the trench coat on.
Now, these helicopter shots are not stock footage.
What?
We actually went out and shot helicopter footage.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's all real.
I knew this was a class production.
Well, Bruce, you remember when I called you up for the picture? I said, Bruce, we're shooting a picture. It's called Mayneeak Caohp. Don't ask me for a script because we have
There was
none.
no script. Bill goes, oh, yeah, it's, you're a cop and you come to New York City. For what? Oh, we got to shoot around this parade. I'll tell you all about it. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
Bill.
right. You were in the first sequence of the parade.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and I said, wear clothes we can duplicate.
Right.
Now, Bill, isn't this guy, didn't you say he was actually your doctor or something?
This guy here is my doctor. Well, it was my doctor when I came to Los Angeles. And when I went into his office, he had more lobby cards than he had diplomas. He played Adolf in Surf Nazis Must Die.
That's right. He had a starring role.
Exactly. So when I went to do the sequence, Larry had written the scene, but I didn't know exactly how this girl had died, and I needed to have it explained. So I showed him how the girl dies,
And then he explained it.
and then he explained it, and then I said, well, I'll never get an actor to say this. So I said, you do the part, and you explain how this girl died.
Now, Bill, didn't he come back in other... Wasn't he...
He came back in part two.
Part 2.
Yeah, he's in part 2.
I hope he took a little care of you as far as his doctor bills go.
Oh, God.
In fact, the insurance actually covered his fee for being in the picture, right?
Exactly.
Blue Cross.
That would have been a good idea.
The only guy making movies on Blue Cross nowadays.
Well, this is Tom Atkins.
He's a very well known and very well thought of actor.
Yeah, he's. I've always liked Tom. He's always been a distinguished character actor, and
He's an
in the
A-class.
John Carpenter
He's a
films.
good, tough guy.
Yeah,
He's an A-class actor. I think we're very lucky to have him.
he was living in Pittsburgh at the time, and we flew him in to do the picture. This is all footage that we shot in New York. Now, this point of view shot was shot in New York, but this shot here is in Los Angeles. This was shot in downtown Los Angeles.
Now, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but this actor is a stunt guy.
Yes.
The theory is go ahead and just cast the stunt guy when you've got a short part where they have to do a stunt. That way, when you double them, you don't have to double them.
Exactly.
And it really looks like the actor gets nailed.
Exactly.
I think that's a good idea.
Also, yeah, it also saves the cost of having another actor there.
No, Bill, it's genius.
That's right.
No, is this girl somebody else's daughter? that was in the film? It wasn't mine. Mine wasn't old enough at the time.
This shot over here is actually it got ripped in the lab. The shot where the cop knocks on the window, and we had to replace that section of the negative. And for some reason, I had 3 takes, and in each take, the sync of the wrapping on the window was perfect.
Wow.
We replaced it once, and it ripped again, and we replaced it a 3rd time, and that's the and there it is.
There he is. He's going to do his
yes.
his little gag with the Billy Club now, isn't he?
Yeah, this was a great idea, Larry.
This is a good shot, though, when this guy gets nailed. It's very effective.
Here it
Ooh,
comes.
hello.
I was surprised when I saw this on television. They actually left this intact.
That's gotta hurt.
This is great. That's an air ram that was used to launch the stunt guy into the window. And there's blood spurting on there.
Here come the wipers any minute now. Here comes the wipers. There they are. Oh, it doesn't work.
And the little red reflection on her face.
Look at his body just flop off. That's a tough stunt to do.
Tough to find a street that empty too. No, that wasn't New York, was it?
No, that's downtown.
Yeah, but it could be 8th Avenue, 9th Avenue, 10th Avenue, 11th.
Detective Lieutenant McRae is here to see you.
Send him in.
Now here we introduce Richard Roundtree.
Have a seat, Lieutenant.
I was a fan of Richard Roundtree's in the Shaft films, and it was
Yeah, he ended up being in Q also, my picture. I know-
Right.
Was that was before this, I think.
yes, Q was before this.
They assumed that it was a police officer instead of some lunatic son of a bitch dressed up like a cop.
He didn't kill the girl. He wanted a witness.
He's going to be in the picture that I'm doing this summer,
Someone tried to-
Warzone. He's in it with Jim Brown and
I mean, it fits my profile for it not to be a cop.
all the other black actors from the exploitation period.
Well, that's gonna be fun.
Where's Rudy Ray Moore?
You know,
Get him in there.
Yeah.
I was listening to Rudy's tape on the way over here. I have his tapes in the car.
Bill, I give you a lot of credit. You get a lot of good character actors in your films. Because when you see their faces, you go, oh, I know that guy.
That's right. You know,
You
I
know,
think
the
he was
Bob
in this.
Forsters of the world, those people.
Well, that's the fun of these pictures. Is Larry writes such colorful characters that you have little attractive roles throughout the script, and you can attract these kind of people.
How many days did Richard work in the picture, actually?
He was booked for 2 days, but actually we finished him in like a day and a quarter.
Did he give any money back?
Unfortunately, no.
You know those actors who always send you back a refund.
Those pig actors, man.
Yeah. I like the ones, if the picture's not a hit, they send you back part of their salary. I love those guys.
I'm still waiting.
Particularly those $1 million plus actors, they give you back the money if the picture's not a hit.
You haven't been on an even keel ever since. Even now.
Look at the smile that Tom does.
Oh, this is where they're talking about the fact that Tom had a nervous breakdown at one time. And that's
Yeah,
why I
it
told
looks like
him.
he's having
I
one
told
now.
him in the script to have a smile, and there's the smile.
Now this was shot in New
Greenwich
York.
Village, yeah.
This is
This
Bleecker
is the greatest scene. Of all people to take out a trombone player, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
The Bleecker Street movie is just no longer there anymore. It's been closed, you know. It's finally gone.
Now this guy, the actor who plays this is Luke Walter, and Luke was Joe Spinell's best friend, and actually he was on the commentary on the Mayneeak disc. He was a great trooper. We put him through hell doing the scene.
Well, this is the one we had to bury his face in cement, right?
Yeah,
Oh, this is great.
yeah. And he was running with these handcuffs on, and no matter what we did, we couldn't use special effects handcuffs because they kept coming off of him. So I had to use real handcuffs, and the poor guy was in all black and blue.
Yeah, those things are pretty brutal, the real handcuffs. Well,
This was
I have a favorite part of this scene coming up where he's trying to push the buttons of the apartment.
with his nose.
Exactly.
That's a real New York scene. I'm not sure if that's fake or real blood over there. This was great. We were shooting in an actual neighborhood, and these people were looking. They didn't even faze them. You know, they just looked out their window. No one called the cops.
Just
and-
another murder.
Yeah, look at this.
It's only Bill Lustig down there shooting Maniac Cop.
Oh, there's the Whistler again.
It's a very memorable refrain.
Oh, thank
Because you
you.
know that that's him.
Yeah,
You know, it represents the Maniac Cop. At least I think it does.
yeah.
Now this is a tough stunt because Luke had to have his hands. He couldn't protect his face. He had to just fall forward.
Splat.
Oh, there he goes. Talk about getting your footprints in Grandma's Chinese.
Oh, this is great.
I love that.
Yes, they didn't want to drill too close to his head. I don't know why they were drilling all the way down there. If you really think about it, I don't know what they expect to find down below
Well, they're
there.
trying to save the evidence around
Yeah.
him. I think that's it. Now, that's a real bar in Long Island City, but now we're in downtown Los Angeles for the interiors. Now, this girl here, I forget her name, but what was remarkable
She was
about
good.
her...
She was good.
Well, what's remarkable is that's a phony... Well, that's her doing an American accent. She actually speaks with a Swedish accent when you meet her. And she's able to turn it completely off and sound American.
I never saw her again after this. Did she ever work in other pictures?
I don't know, but she was
She was very good. She has a great look to her and everything.
Yeah, she kind of disappeared.
Yeah. Maybe we better put a lookout, see if anybody knows what became of this girl.
Oh, she was incredible. I think, I think it's
Anybody knows who she is or where she is, please
Yeah.
call the Laserdisc company
Put out
immediately.
an APB.
Yeah. I'd forgotten, actually, that she was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Make it bigger than AIDS. It's the only way to get City Hall off their ass.
Topical, AIDS.
That's right.
We were so far ahead of our time here.
I am ready to hand you.
Look at that jacket. I mean, is that a detective jacket? It looks like a lounge act singer
he
or
does.
something with that jacket.
Or else it's dandruff. It's a terrible case of dandruff this guy's got. Oh, she's supposed to be a reporter, isn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
McRae, remember,
Yeah.
I owe you one.
Listen
Yeah,
to
she's
her.
great.
It's American television is what it does. I just came back from New Zealand, and the actors there, if they watch enough TV, they would imitate like detective shows from the 60s and 70s.
Really?
Yeah, that's how they picked up their accent.
Now, this is the woman who stops and shoots the cop, right?
Yeah. This was shot. This was part
This
of our
woman
pickup
is
shots.
married to Walter Koenig, the actor.
Come on. Are you serious?
Yes,
Really?
because I ran into her later at a function, and I didn't make the connection. And I said, I had no idea this is your wife. And I said, you blew that cop away in Mayneeak Cop.
Where'd you shoot this scene?
Actually, those are my license plates on there. San Pedro. My car was still registered in New Jersey when I shot this picture, and I used my license plates. This was shot in San Pedro, California.
Now, where was that traveling shot with the train right before that?
That was shot in New York. That was our actual helicopter shots that we shot. No second unit. No stock footage.
Oh, here he comes.
Now, these close-ups are interesting because they really work, and they were shot inside a studio because we ran out of light, and I couldn't shoot her close-ups on the location. It's,
No, as long as she's looking in the right screen direction, it works.
I know. It just goes to show you, you go with the flow. I don't even notice it now.
And probably the actor at this stage would tell you that they shot the close-ups on the location.
Exactly.
Because I've done that with actors, put them in scenes they weren't even in, and they swear to this day later on that they are. There you go.
Oh.
That's a tough stunt because the stunt guy has to put his face right next to a glass that
Right,
explodes.
Exactly.
And he had a squib under his hat, and which blew right out.
Now we have Bill Smith making his entrance.
He was
here
a very imposing guy.
with a shaved head this time.
Yeah.
Now, the guy in the middle there is a friend of mine who is actually...
He's an entrepreneur. is
he's
what
an
he is.
entrepreneur.
He's asking me, say, Nick, what do you do? I'm a businessman. Oh, really, Nick? What do you do? Oh, this and that.
Anyway, I always try to put Nick in my movies. And Nick was complaining that, about his positioning over there behind these two guys. And Bill Smith turns to him and goes, look, Nick, I hear one more word from you. Richard and I are going to close up our shoulders and you'll become a radio show.
Now, Bill had a strange speaking voice in this one, didn't he? A very raspy voice.
Actually, that's his real voice. I don't think he put that on. He was a great... Oh, man, he was wonderful to work with. Just a lot of laughs.
Yeah. Is he still around?
Yeah, he's still around. I'd love to work with him again.
Yeah.
Now, here is the introduction of Bruce.
He can button his shirt like nobody else.
Yeah, boy.
I had to show him how to do that, folks.
Yeah.
No,
Wait till
I got Robert Zadar to show me. how to
Wait
do
till he
that.
starts zipping his zipper. That's when he really gets good, though. Daily Star,
Now, this was the first day of shooting of principal photography.
That's right. I remember.
Was
that.
it really?
Yeah, first day of shooting, principal photography. We had already shot the parade footage like 3 or 4
Oh,
months
that's
earlier.
right. That's right.
And this was in August, and we were shooting this first day. And I hadn't shot a picture in 4 years. And I was really nervous coming to the set this day. And a friend of mine was staying at the house, another director, Armin Mastriani. And I said, Armin, I've got this scene to shoot, and for some reason I've got a block. I can't think of what to do. And I was just really frozen with fear going onto the set. And we started doing the scene in my house before I came to the set. And then it went smoothly after that. But I was...
We did an interesting thing here with the music. When we see the buttoning up of the jacket again, we put the Mayneeak Caohp theme, thinking that this might be a red herring type of a situation. And,
well, it was.
Yeah.
Well, the wife thinks he's the Mayneeak cop, so it's perfectly
Right.
valid to do that
Right.
because inside her head, that's who he is at this point. Her suspicion.
Talk like it's already over.
This girl did a nice job in her part
Yeah, she
too.
did. She's very intense.
That's why you're taking so much overtime.
We really didn't show your face yet in the scene, did we?
Well, I charge by the shot.
In that case, you wouldn't have been hardly in it at all if
That's
he,
right.
This is...
based on our budget here.
Afraid that you might
Now,
not find yourself.
no, I punched a close-up.
There we go.
Mr. Scowl.
Oh, look at that. Those darkened eyes.
Yeah.
This really does look like those RKO pictures. As you know.
I'm afraid of him, and I don't know why.
Oh, Jack, please. Don't go out tonight. Stay with me.
Now, how can I? I'm on the duty roster.
It was funny when I showed this film to the production company, Shapiro Glickenhaus. One of the executives there, who's no longer there, commented and pulled me aside after we had shot the whole picture and said, Bruce Campbell's character, I mean, he's the hero of the movie, and he's cheating on his wife. I mean,
My God, I never thought of that.
and
You can't be the hero if you're doing that, Bruce.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think it adds an extra layer because normally it's just the tried and true blue guy, you know, who
In-
falls into he's the wrong man.
In all my scripts, nobody's ever a good guy anyway.
That's right.
That's a trademark of a Larry Cohen script. The hero is never completely good. He's always got faults, and
well, that was the beauty. When I read Larry's script, I said, this is great. I said that the hero is cheating on his wife, and he's compelled by guilt of the murder of his wife to solve this
Right.
mystery. I said, it really makes it an interesting character. But it's funny, but out here in California, they look at everything as being, you know, they want everything very simplistic. And
well, obviously the person you talked to probably went to a film school and took a writing class, and they have a formula for everything. And if they apply the formula, then anything that's different, offbeat a little bit, is always considered wrong.
well, what's
Right.
scary about it is if this guy had been employed by the company prior to us going into production, he was hired while we were already in production, this whole plot line might not have been in the picture. I'm sure Larry and I would have fought for it, but it's
Well,
very
this
possible.
was the whole plot line of the picture, though. I mean,
Well-
without this element, there would have been no first half to the film.
Well, that's what I think the beauty of this picture is Larry, we had our arguments during the making of the film. We had our creative arguments, but the bottom line is we had the freedom to make the picture the way we wanted to make it, which is a luxury that you don't get very often.
You hardly get it at all.
Yeah, and
they
I've
didn't.
learned that.
They didn't interfere with the script at all. I can't remember any specific notes from Shapiro Glickenhaus.
There was none.
We just
there were
made we just made it.
We
that's
made
all.
the picture we wanted to make,
Yeah.
and it was between you and I to make the picture.
Were there any scenes that we had to leave out because of budget or something? No, I don't think so.
Well, I think we changed the ending.
You added to the ending. You made
Yeah.
the ending more spectacular than it was in the script.
But that's the beauty. This picture and Mayneeak Cop 2, unfortunately on Cop 3 we didn't have that opportunity, but on this picture we had the opportunity to, and Mayneeak Cop 2 to make the picture that we wanted to make.
But I think, in my opinion, this was the best of the three. In my feeling personally about it, because the story was the best worked out. You didn't have as much money to spend as you had in the second one, but to me, the plot line.
You
was
can
the
always get stitched up when you do part 2 and 3 because you always have to tie things in. This is part 1. This is the movie just plays. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Right.
You know, sometimes those part 2, 3s, and 5s are always they get more intertwined.
And you travel in the same streets you've traveled before. You
Right.
know.
Right.
Over here is where we had the Teamster.
Was this on 9th or 10th Avenue or something?
No, this was in downtown LA.
They had their
fooled
flash
you.
cameras that they knew when we were shooting they would take a big flash picture and ruin the shot.
So how did you get around that then?
We went in the room and shot the title sequence.
Oh, and then they went.
this stuff,
and they
we were able to shoot before
Now,
they got there.
Wait, keep your eyes open now. Hey, who's that fella?
Oh, he's in here too. I forgot.
Oh
That's right.
God, the screen doesn't it light up like Richard Gere just
I gotta
came
tell
on?
you.
Who is that guy? Here we go. She got the key. They give the keys out to anybody in New York. You know that.
You should see what I put her through to get the key.
They cut that scene out. Oh,
Two
Look at
cops.
this.
Hey.
Maybe he's gay. That was actually.
oh,
Oh, aren't we glad it's a girl?
listen, this always happened.
Now, Bill, I remember you put a latex condom on the nightstand because you actually wanted to promote that they were being responsible. You did that. You said, "I want a condom on that nightstand." See right there, a little latex condom.
That may be out of. You know what? I think that's going to be out of the Laserdisc because this has been matted.
Ah.
Oh,
see
wait,
it
you
now.
can see it.
It's
You can see it
there.
now.
It's
Yeah.
there. Bill Lustig is a responsible filmmaker,
Boy,
ladies and gentlemen.
there might be an award coming or something. You know that?
Uh-oh.
Well, you are the hero of the picture, Bruce. I couldn't, You are a role model.
Yeah, well,
But I'll kill you both.
Ellen,
I love this.
Which one's she gonna get? Where's she gonna shoot?
What's she aiming at? That's what I want to know. Where is her aim?
It's low.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. This is a.
And then she goes out the door. And the girl in the bed is Lorraine Landon,
Oh yes.
who was in All the Marbles, Robert Aldridge's picture, and later on I, the Jury, with Armand Assante. And there this girl goes. That's it. The maids in New York, they get the same thing all the time, though. Well, she should have just walked in and said, "Oh, another one."
yeah, it starts changing the sheets.
That's it.
Actually, the scene kind of reminded me when I was in New York shooting Mayneeak. There was a murder of this hooker in a motel room that was not far from where we were shooting, and I was thinking about it when we were shooting this over here.
Must have partied it up good in here.
There goes. The shade goes back on. That was that added to the budget, dropping that lamp.
Actually, I think we trashed a real lamp in the room. Look at this, a motel suite. These people are classy.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
They put her in the bed.
Now, I regret I should have trimmed the very head of this shot over here and kept him in silhouette. That little beat at the beginning bothers me when he turns the corner.
So you would have kept him a little more mysterious throughout his walk.
I would. All I had to do is just trim maybe a foot off the head of that shot, and it would have been more satisfying to me. Start him already on the stairs.
Well, this gives you the impression that he might be the maniac cop.
Exactly.
That's
Right.
what's the fun
But,
of this.
but at the very head of it, there's light on him, and I would have kept him silhouetted. There's my brother on the left side of the screen, my brother Jason,
That's right.
who appears in all my movies.
Jason buys the big one, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
Well, if I can have my daughter, you can have your brother. But you got your doctor, however. My dentist comes in later.
This is nice. They're silhouetted. Now maybe William Smith is the maniac cop.
That's right. You had a couple of red herrings going there.
Exactly. Makes it fun.
Well, Bill Smith's got the build for the maniac cop,
yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know it's not Bruce because he was in the room when she got attacked by in
That's
the
right.
van. So now it could be William Smith, and this is what this scene is all about, to throw the suspicion onto him.
Found dead in a motel room. The sleazebag boy.
I love the scene. This is a great scene.
Only Bill Smith can say these lines. Look at this.
From here to here.
Look, you swallowed hard there, kid.
That's right.
I should have put a little gulp in the Foley's.
You want to see the pretty picture?
He's such an animal, Bill Smith.
Wasn't there a cop that went on and actually did commit a bunch of murders subsequent to this in real life?
You mean motivated from this?
No, it just by coincidence. There was some cop who was a serial killer.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Actually, Maniac Cop spawned a couple of rip-off movies like Psycho Cop, and there was some other cop type films that were.
There was some kind of a little legal action, I think, when they put out a video with the same jacket as we had. But that's the sincerest form of flattery, is to have imitations.
I know, and it's funny, when we went out to the market with this picture, there was a resistance to the title and the concept of the film. It's like anytime you come out with something new, the immediate reaction of distributors is one of, if it's not a remake of last year's success, they get concerned. They don't know how to react to it.
Well, that's what Shapiro of Shapiro Glickenhaus said to me. You're not really thinking of calling this Mayneeak Cop, are you? I said, what else would we possibly call it?
They said, well, it's not a classy enough title. As a matter of fact, I remember Lenny Shapiro.
Yeah, but as I recall, this shipped a good amount of videos, Bill.
Exactly. I mean, that's the funny part, is it was a success despite, the skepticism and everything of the people who were handling it. Lenny Shapiro actually had us put in the contract, if you recall, that he had the right to change the title. That's how adamant he was.
He was that concerned about it.
Yeah.
And one of the best things about it was the title to start
And the
with.
copy line.
Yeah.
The copy line of the title was the movie.
Which I noticed they used in, it's on the box.
Yeah.
I mean, they used that line.
Of course.
Everybody's screaming for blood, all of a sudden I'm it. I'm certain you had no control over what happened.
The actor here is John Caohp. He's a wonderful character actor and also a writer.
Oh, is that the John Caohp who writes who wrote some screenplays for? I think he wrote one where Lorraine was in, Hundra and Yellow Hair. He
That's
wrote
John.
those for that director. What's his name?
Matt Cimber.
Matt Cimber. He wrote two pictures that Lorraine Landon made in Spain, and he's the author of both of them.
Yeah, that's him.
What a coincidence, huh?
He also co-wrote a movie I did called Hit List.
Career. Let's give it to the end of the week. If they don't find the real killer by then.
He was also, he weighed a lot more. He was about 100 pounds heavier than he is there, and he was in the movie The Buddy Holly Story, where he played his manager.
Well, this is the cute montage of all the different
I
people.
like these. This is a very helpful thing because it's these little snippets of what people think. They're the little Greek chorus, you know?
Yeah. There was a lot of truth in this little montage.
I remember you wanting to do a re-release of this picture with Mayneeak Cop 2 when the Rodney King thing happened.
Oh, yeah.
There's Buck Flower.
Yeah, he was in all the John Carpenter pictures.
Right.
He's a John Carpenter
And
regular.
I worked with him about 2 years later.
What picture?
Sundown.
Oh, right.
He played a good old boy. He's got that, 5 packs a day sort of voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
About 18 years back, I had a case where
Of course, so does Bill Smith.
this guy made it look like a psychopath.
Oh, he's,
Had a little bit of whiskey.
Yeah, that great whiskey voice.
He goes in and he kills his wife, and it looks like it's one of the serial killings.
Jack's been set up to take
the thing about these actors, they really approach this material with such sincerity, and they really sell it. They sell this idea to this supernatural idea.
Come on, Ripley, why not?
Well, this is, again, one of the few efforts to take a horror picture and put it into a Naked City type background.
I think we refer to it as Frankenstein meets the French Connection.
Yeah. Well, we did that with Q also, taking the monster bird and shooting it like a very documentary-style New York movie.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been any others? Well, there was one picture, I think, about voodoo worship in New York that was done by Schlesinger, did it? John Schlesinger did it.
Right,
picture.
The Believers.
The Believers. Again, it had the gritty New York kind of look and the occult background.
One of the things that surprised me when I watched this film again when we were working on the remastering was all the coverage we got on the picture, given the time that we had to shoot it. I mean, Bruce, you're now directing episodic television,
right?
And you know how tough it is.
Oh, it's a nightmare. If you don't have coverage, you're dead because you're then stuck with what you got, and you have to rely 100% on the actors to either succeed or fail, or some camera movement. It's an unnecessary amount of pressure, I found. So if you can get good coverage, and this has that, it really helps a lot. Also, you can expand and contract the picture.
Oh, yeah, that's it. You can pull the scene together and drop out some lines if you need to.
Yeah, you can go in for the lines.
Yeah.
What's also nice is when you're working under these time constraints, you really makes you have to think the shots that you need to tell the story. So there's never anything extra. It really becomes a tight little B movie.
Now here comes the hooker scene.
The undercover.
We all know about that.
Yeah. Now this is we got Hugh Grant over here to.
Here's Lorraine. She did a very good job in this scene. I thought
Yes.
this was one of her best scenes.
Yep,
actually.
but she's very natural in this.
Well, depends.
Because she's really good at fooling around. She's the closest to this type of.
Yeah, she's really a
bubbly,
clown. She's got a lot
She
of.
is a clown.
I always thought she was very much reminiscent to me of Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
There's something about the way she. If you see old Lucille Ball movies, she looks like Lucille Ball, and she's got some of that comedy ability. She doesn't get a chance to play it very often.
And it's funny, you talk about an actress being willing to do stuff. She was about as ready as you can get.
Oh, yeah.
As far as fight scenes or chases or really getting into it.
Well, later on, when she was hanging out the window, there's.
Oh, that's right.
Well, after doing all those stunts and all the marbles for Aldrich, you know, that
Right.
she was willing to try anything after that.
Right.
She did this part very good here. Flirting with the guy in the car.
She's big, too, Lorraine Landon. She's a big woman.
The crew loved that location. They all got to hang out in that dance club over there. Now, some of these shots over here were actually directed by Armin Mastriani.
Really?
And, yeah, what happened was I had to negotiate with the Teamsters, and I was up all night trying to clear up our Teamster problem so we could shoot the next day. And I was so tired, I had to take a nap. So, Armin came in for me and shot. We set up the shots, and I said, Armin, just let me take a nap, and you just get the shot. So all the shots in this direction for about half the scene.
In this direction here?
Not this shot, but all the shots where you see Lorraine were all shot by Armand.
I thought it had his touch to it.
Yeah, yeah.
What are some of the pictures he's done?
He Knows You're Alone.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah,
Hey, look, don't get the wrong idea.
yeah. These.
I'm on duty here.
That's right. She has a little brush.
She's terrific here.
Vice Squad.
Except I noticed later on in the cutting room, she holds the badge upside down, and that's all I see.
Oh, there it comes.
That's cool. This scene is like an impossible scene. When you read it on paper, it's so tough to think about how to visualize it and sell it to the audience. So these scenes are rather difficult. These close-ups of the squibs on the jacket were shot later on as pickup shots.
Was that during other Teamster negotiations? Those
No.
the squibs?
No, the main titles, that's it.
Hey, wait! I hear that whistle.
You have to run. In fact, we used that in the sequel. We did a rap tune based on that.
I hit him in the head at least twice.
Run me a tab, will you? Thanks.
Now, if you notice a little subtlety in there, we have the St. Patrick's Day decorations in this cop bar.
It's a setup for the parade, which is coming.
They felt like
And I'm going to try and point out the shot. There is still, from the original footage that we shot, there's still, you can see me in the little corner running down the street. That's in the film here. It's used just as an establisher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you can see me starting to weave down as if like the head of a zoom in.
Oh, God, I remember that. We went out with like 3 cameras.
Right.
Trying to get as much
And
footage
we got
with
caught
Sam.
by the cops
Yeah.
in our phony uniforms. I didn't have a phony uniform, but they caught those other guys.
I did the same sequence in a picture called God Told Me To, with a gunfight in the middle of the St. Patrick's Day parade with Andy Kaufman playing the psychopathic cop. That was the prelude to, predecessor of Mayneeak Cop, because Andy Kaufman played a cop who goes berserk in the parade and kills about 14 people before they finally shoot him down. And I guess that was actually the first Mayneeak Cop.
Yeah.
And it was in the St. Patrick's Day parade. We didn't get arrested, though. Even though we had guns going up and blood squibs, because I guess I was just lucky.
I think we tried to explain we were a student film or something.
Something. You know, then they saw the 35mm camera. And they
Yeah.
said, "Get out of here."
Well, I remember, I think one of the units went out without me was with you and Sam, and you guys were doing like a stunt
Oh yeah.
in the middle of 5th Avenue.
Well, I was running down the street, and some guys thought that I had stolen something, and a couple of guys started to chase after me, and I thought, "No, I'm an actor. I'm an actor."
Did they actually
Prove
bust,
it, they said. Prove it, right?
Yeah, well,
Did they bust you on this parade? I mean, did they like make you get out?
No, what are they going to do? Running around, it's New York. Got a little hairy, though, when we were stepping out in the middle of the parade.
yeah.
You know,
This
here-
is-
this is the precinct we always shoot at in 31st Street or
That's
something.
right. The exterior.
We shot a lot of movies in this precinct, I tell you. They actually built the NYPD Blue police station to pattern it after this particular 31st Street police station. But these scenes you shot out in Burbank somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, this was shot in, I think it was Glendale.
It was a police station everybody used to use, but they
it
don't.
was
They
just
don't.
an abandoned place.
But they don't. They don't have it there anymore, do they? It's not available anymore.
Well, they never maintained it, and they left it open, and people would go in there and actually live in the place. It was, this is all in that location. There was all gang graffiti and stuff in there.
You must have been there close to 4 or 5 days in this place?
I think we were there for a week because we shot the morgue there. We
Yeah,
shot
there was
all
a
the
lot
police
shot
station.
here.
Yeah, it was great though. We really took advantage of the place. I love these scenes over here. They really do remind me of those like 30s, 40s films, you know.
Oh, here comes the lady with the canes.
Sherry North.
Sherry North.
This was a wonderful character.
It was kind of bizarre. The Mayneeak cop had someone that loved him. It was something we never actually were able to achieve in the other two pictures, giving him some kind of a relationship with another human being, as distorted as they may be. Although we did kind of tie him in with the psychopath, who became his friend in the second picture.
In the second picture, we used the psychopath as kind of like his Bela Lugosi, Igor.
Yeah.
And
which was Leo.
Leo Rossi, yeah.
Yeah, but here she really loved him, you know. She really loved him, and she was a distorted person, too. She was crippled, and he was crippled, and so there was a union between them.
Well, actually, the reason she became crippled is she had thrown herself out a window when he was put in jail.
Yeah, she tried to commit suicide, and
Yeah.
that crippled her.
Teresa.
This was
Why? What happened?
Sherry North. Oh, she wonderful.
Yeah, very fine actress.
Real trooper.
How is she?
Two good actors.
I'm trying to remember the big pictures that she did at Fox. They were.
Well, she was in Charlie Varick. That was Don Siegel's picture, Charlie Varick. She was in The Killer, The Killers, the Don Siegel picture, The Killers, The Shootist with John Wayne. A lot of Don Siegel pictures. We talked a lot about Don Siegel when we were working. Don Siegel at the time was very ill, and I had wanted to meet him.
To get that computer fixed. I'm glad we finally got to say hello.
Uh-oh, she's looking. We move in a little bit on her here.
I really think Jimmy did a great job with this picture, lighting it, giving it a...
He comes up with a good gritty look.
He does. It's part of his sensibilities. He's a guy from New York, and
definitely.
I could have never gotten this if I had used an L.A. cameraman.
Right.
He really gives it the feel.
This was the Mayneeak Cop love theme here, sort of setting this whole thing up.
The famous love theme from Mayneeak Cop.
That's
yes.
right. It's,
we danced to that at my house a lot on Friday nights usually.
Yeah, that and Dr. Zhivago, I listen to
That's
that all
it.
the time.
Yeah, we got a lot of requests to put this on a music box.
This is San Pedro. These POV shots. I got to check out Tom Atkins. I got to work with him again. He was really a nice guy.
You know, you guys, a lot of your pictures, they're done at night.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff is done at night. You know, I guess it's probably the genre too. It lends itself well to.
Well, that's
a lot of
when
night
that's
shots.
when the evil creatures come out.
That's
you know?
right. It's at night, especially in big cities.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite genres are horror, film noir. I
Right.
collect a lot of film noir films, and I just love that look. It's also fun shooting at night. It's a time when you can really focus on what you're doing, and there's no distractions.
Well, it's quiet. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's quiet.
And if you're shooting in the heat of the summer, at least it's cooler at night than being bombarded with the sunlight all day.
Right.
Look at this. This does look like. I love it.
Yeah, this could be over by the west side, which is supposed to be in the script, the west side of Manhattan, by the river. It's the same stuff.
Look at that. It's a beautiful shot. I mean, it's funny, but I watched this movie and I feel so distant from it because I made this picture 8 years ago.
Right.
And when I say it's a beautiful shot, it sounds kind of funny, but I'm looking at it very objectively. Yeah?
Well, I haven't seen this thing in at least 5 or 6 years.
I love all the texture, all these scaffolding that we shot through. Just gave us such a mysterious.
There was a
look.
lot of junk in that actual boatyard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just bare. I guess that's the beauty if you pick the right locations that they're already dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the smart thing to do, to find something that's already there and then write it into the script.
Right.
So that everybody's like, gee, they really constructed that damn thing.
right,
It looks
yeah.
fantastic. They spent a lot of money. So
funny.
very often in my pictures when I'm riding around in the car looking for the location, I see something, oh my God, let me stop and write this into the script and change the whole location around.
Right.
I forget where the picture actually ended in the original version, but was it on a dock? Or?
Well, I'll tell you something funny. When I was watching Bestseller, one of the great movies you wrote, I heard someone talk about somebody falling through the dock, through the dock into the water.
Right.
I think James Woods tells the story to Brian Dennehy of somebody going through the dock. Well,
And that was the original thing.
that was the original ending of Mayneeak Caohp, which
Well, that's right. He fell through the planks and was impaled on these pilings below the. The scene in Bestseller is actually Brian Dennehy falls through, and James Woods grabs his arm and keeps him from falling.
oh, that's it.
And basically saves him. That's towards their first meeting in the picture.
Right.
And then by the time Brian climbs back up again, James Woods has vanished.
Mm-hmm.
That's their first meeting in the picture. So, if we don't use the scene in one picture, it ends up going into the next one. Nothing goes to waste.
Well, I remember him being impaled. So when I saw this giant mask that was sitting by the dock, I decided to do a gigantic stake in the heart, which you'll see later.
Yeah, and of course the idea of doing the truck going off the pier and everything with your very good stuntman Spiro Rosato driving it.
I was just jumping, Matt.
The whistle.
The whistle's back. Yeah, you guys talked through the whole love theme thing that was going on, but that's okay. You can buy the soundtrack.
Or you can play the disc back
That's
and
right.
listen to it.
This Matt doesn't fool around. If you turn away from him for a moment, when you look back, he's gone.
Only if we want.
I've known some girls like that.
Hey, you! What are you
Oh, Frank
There he
Pesh.
is.
easy? What are you doing?
My Dick Miller.
You always
He's
take
in
it
every
easy,
one of my
man.
movies.
It's a good way to blow your balls off.
He's a good kind of New York type, everyman sort of actor.
Well, who would have ever thought that a movie would be made about him, 29th Street?
I don't blame you. I should get hazard.
He's going to be in Warzone also, that we're making in Chicago.
That's great.
Got yourself killed back there. Those timbers are ready to break.
Oh, there was a setup for the ending that we didn't use.
Right.
Oh,
The
yeah,
timbers
about
were
the
ready
timber.
to break. That was a setup for the ending that we didn't use. You see, we
it.
plant these things, and there he is. There's Cordell, a fine, upstanding fellow, I would think.
Actually, that was Robert Zadar's picture, who
Yeah.
played.
Oh, well, here's my trademark actor, Jim Dixon, who's in all the pictures that I've been involved in.
He was the trade of my putting Frank Pesh in this, I think.
Yeah.
We balance out.
Matt believed in the old saying, shoot first and ask questions later. He was kind, though. Gentle enough if you got to
Yeah, he's been in every picture since Black Caesar.
admit it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to come in here and look at his
Somebody called me up recently and said I was looking at a picture on cable and I saw Jim Dixon, so I knew it had to be your film. It was The Ambulance, in which he played Jughead. Remember?
That's right,
He
yeah.
played the cop who everybody said looked like Jughead.
There's Robert Zadar. He had me promise, because he had to wear all that makeup, that at some point in the movie we would see his face.
The real Robert Zadar.
So that was my letting people see the real Robert Zadar.
You know what's so funny is that Bob Zadar is this sort of kind of swinger, playboy, smooth kind of guy, and here he plays such a, kind of a stalking, monster, but he's really a very outgoing kind of guy.
Oh yeah,
He's a
sweetheart.
nice person, a really nice
Yeah.
person.
And you say he's an opera singer too, right, Bill? He sings opera.
No, that's not him. That's Robert Davi.
Ah,
brought her in here one time.
Who was in part
Otherwise,
two.
we would have had the
Part two.
Maniac Cop singing a few
Singing opera,
arias for
right.
you, yeah. Which is another villain entirely, I think, for a future picture. A killer who sings opera, that's a very good idea.
Right after he was convicted, the poor soul.
Yeah, this was all shot in that location in Glendale.
That same police station.
Yeah,
It
we
was
just kept redressing it and
It was a real police station at one time, right? And then
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't make
We were just shooting different corners of the room. I mean, this is the same room as the file room that Sherry North was in, except we just redressed it and shot and relit it.
Well,
Now
this is the scene we made up later on in the editing room. We fooled around in the editing room to create a scene that actually.
Oh, the montage.
These are
didn't
all day
exist.
for night. These shots right here are actually pieces of heads or tails of shots that were for the fight scene later on in the movie. And all we did is we went into an optical house and made them day for night.
Yeah, this is when Dave Kern, you and I were fooling around trying to take little snippets of film and create a scene that didn't really exist.
And here we also have the whistle theme.
And here we had the flashback, right? Into
Yeah, this was shot as part of our pickups. This move into Cordell.
That's right. We had to go back after we put this together. We had to go back and get this particular shot to put in to make a whole sequence. To me, that's the most fun thing in any movie is to take something that doesn't exist and make it in the editing room by putting together pieces of film that don't have anything to do with anything, and suddenly here it is.
Now this helicopter shot of Sing Sing, that's the actual Sing Sing prison. The interior here was shot in at the GMT studios in Culver City.
What was that stock footage, Bill? That the establisher there?
No, they did it. They did it real.
Bruce.
Well, Bill, I don't know.
Aggravate me, aren't you?
No.
Remember, they had a helicopter for the New York stuff. They flew up to Sing
We
Sing.
did. And we notified the warden of Sing Sing that we were coming up there, and he said, listen, he says, I don't care what you do, but if you get within 500 feet of the prison, we're shooting you down.
Whoa, that's scary.
So he said to Armand Mastriani, you shoot this scene too.
I'm taking it now.
Now, Larry, you're doing something with the bad guy that you did with the good guy. With the good guy, he's sleeping around, so he's not always such a good guy. Now with your bad guy, you're showing that he was just a regular good cop who went a little over the edge.
A little dirty Harry who got put into prison.
Exactly, and so you're creating those gray areas.
Yeah, well, we're humanizing the bad guy.
Yeah.
So the good guy's not perfect, and the bad guy's not so completely bad.
That's right.
By the way, this flicker that you see here was by accident. We were using HMIs.
And they flicker, HMIs.
HMIs flicker if you don't have the speed of the camera synced to the HMIs.
Right.
And see over here the flicker. So,
but sometimes it works for you if
exactly
you're in a surrealistic scene like this.
And
so now I just take
the
credit.
reason it's flickering is because the camera's off speed.
Exactly.
You're
We're
rolling
shooting at 48.
Right.
And
they're calibrated for 24.
They're 24, but you can calibrate. You have to go 24, and I think it's 30.
It's like point something.
Yeah. So we were just slightly off, and that's why we got the flicker on there. But it works. And I'll tell people we did it deliberately, but
always. This is kind of an interesting moment musically. Instead of playing this really graphically, we're still using this kind of whistle theme and kind of really playing against it with a sort of psychedelic strings.
Well, that makes it his dream, his memory, rather than the actuality of it. But you did have a few stings in there.
Oh yeah, we couldn't play it totally straight here, but it was also interesting that we had a real orchestra on this score. A lot of films of this genre and budget didn't really have orchestra and stuff. So.
Ooh, got him.
Now this shot right here in England was cut. That shot where his face is gashed.
Yeah.
That's the only cut on the film in England.
England is very weird. In Evil Dead 2, I was unconscious, and I got kicked after I was unconscious, and that was too much.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to go in on the eye, aren't we, from this drain?
Mm-hmm. I never saw Psycho, by the way, so it was just a coincidence that...
No, the drain going to the eye is a very nice
That's
transition.
artsy-fartsy, Bill, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I know. Hitchcock,
Hitchcock.
I should have never let him see this movie. Oh, this guy at the door is another friend of mine, Vic, who...
You know how to hang out of your friends, Bill, I'll tell you that.
Exactly. That's why they're my friends, I get them jobs.
Did you tell the DA?
Well, we tried to, but he wouldn't believe us. You won't either.
You ever hear of a Detective Matt Cordell?
Yeah, it's before my time, but he was a legend, real trigger happy, right? He died in jail.
Boy, we really made good use of that police station.
Only now he kills innocent people.
Yeah, but how could he get out of prison?
Yeah, because this was in that same location.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning I've got an appointment with the
Yeah, really...
They're up at Sing
Used every inch of the place.
Well, it's a nice thing about Los Angeles. It's so location and user friendly. They know that there's going to be other cop shows and other action shows. So if, you know, a guy who owns a building that used to be a police station, they know they can rent it out. So
it's too bad
instead of tearing it down like other people might do.
It's too bad this place isn't there anymore because
I know we went to shoot Mayneeak Cop 2 there, and it
no more. Huh?
no more. It was almost completely dilapidated.
Oh, is this the where he gets roughed up a little bit?
He gets trashed. He gets trashed.
He gets filed under
By the lady with the cane.
Yes.
He gets here. He gets Evil Dead, like you in Evil Dead.
And this was a nice shock moment. She's going to find the glove in there, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hello.
I wonder if that's OJ's glove. Actually, you see, it doesn't fit the Mayneeak cop. Proves that he couldn't possibly have done it. Oh. There she goes. Bang. Bang.
Oh.
I want my overtime. That's it. I'm not doing this picture anymore.
I couldn't use a phony cane over here. I had to use the real cane because every time it would hit his arm, we'd see it bend.
Right.
So Tom said, "Okay, go for it," and he did it. He put some padding on his arm and let her whack him.
I think that was one of my favorite scenes right there.
No, I think I'm going to see your brother here in a second, Bill.
That's it. I hung him up there in the hanging harness. I just left him up there.
This is a good reaction that she does.
Yeah.
To get a good horror reaction is tough, I think. Get a good screamer.
There's my brother.
I killed my daughter. You killed your brother.
Man, oh man.
What a sadistic bunch of people. Now, I like the way you cocked the angle all of a sudden here.
Yeah, we were playing around with Dutch angles on this.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah,
this is a stunt woman.
Love this, baby.
Isn't anybody else?
I didn't trash Sherry North. Just so people know that I'm not sadistic. That is a stunt woman. I did pay for a stunt double.
No actresses
That's
were
all
hurt
right.
during the making of this picture.
It was a nice cut of her face going on the... and now you're going to throw the entire length of the cabinets right down here.
That's it.
Right into the camera. Bang.
And Tom went for it. So that's why we put him right up close.
Right. Well, if actors know they're falling into a close-up, they'll let you do it. If it's a wide shot, they'll say, yeah, get the double.
Now, most people don't notice, but his face, those are the bar marks as though his face was pushed into the bars. And then there's a guy who's hanging over here, and we actually hung him with 2 pairs of handcuffs around his neck, but it's kind of hard to see.
You can see it when you look. That's what this laser is good for, because we just can go back and look at that. He's hanging with handcuffs.
Look at this, like William Castle, House of Horrors.
Ooh, there he is.
Meanwhile...
He's still getting his head bashed in over here. Now, here's the day that I came to the set and I put a line in on the stage. Remember that joke?
Yeah, this was, well, it comes up in a little while.
Yeah.
We come back to this location.
I think this was the only day that I visited the set during the entire shooting of the picture, was this day of this particular...
Well, I remember you coming to me when I was shooting it. Well, we're going to be coming to the scene in a little while, but I remember what you said to me. I'll mention it later, but it was funny. This was, now we trash.
Now, Bill, as I recall coming up, there's a stunt that was one of the early times that this was done, this method of the high fall.
Exactly. Spiro Rosados came to me and said, look, we can do this stunt where you see the guy actually falling away from camera
Towards
without the ground without an airbag. This shot here, we used what is called a decelerator, which had not really been used.
No, not much, because when I heard you were going to do that, I thought, you're out of your mind.
I know. It was a great stunt. And the stunt people made it seem like such a big deal to do it. They were like, saying their prayers and everything.
Right.
And but when I happened to wander onto the set when they were preparing, when I was supposed to be in another part of town, they were over there playing with the descender. They were all falling off the roof, having fun.
The beauty of this is killing Tom Atkins is just like killing Janet Leigh in Psycho.
Exactly right.
You don't expect that he's going to die. He's the hero.
Right, you're following him all the way through.
Yeah, and so when you kill him, it's really a surprise, I think.
I love it. The cop who's afraid of dead
That's
people.
That's the cop who didn't like touching the corpses.
Right, which is perfect. That's a good payoff.
Now here it is. This is Larry and myself. Here are our voices.
I didn't do any of this.
Sure you didn't.
Put your guns over there. All right. On your face, both of you.
Hey, man, going after him? You heard him. He didn't do it. Therese.
That was me.
That's right.
Are we going after him? You heard him. He didn't do it. We put that in on the set. That was the only day I came to the set. I think maybe we can add something to this movie while I'm here.
Well, what you said to me was, Bill, when you pan the camera back down to the cops, don't cut right away. Keep on it for a little while. I have some ideas for lines.
Right.
And I didn't even know what he had in mind until we got into the studio later to do the ADR.
Right.
Now, we shot all this helicopter footage,
This
folks.
is all original for this
Yeah,
picture.
I knew that, Bill. I could tell. It's got the Lustig touch.
Now, check this out. Check out the way we did the sly move with the train. A little 6-frame dissolve. And there's the train.
You almost think
amazing.
it's from part of the same shot.
Yep. Big production value. I bought this train, by the way.
It's actually a miniature. I know a miniature when I see
See
one.
the Lionel. on
See,
the
there we
back.
are, 500 feet above Sing Sing. No one's getting close.
501 feet.
And here's the zoom lens. If we have to move in, we're not moving the helicopter
We're
in.
zooming. There you go.
Okay, we're back in the safety of the Los Angeles soundstage.
I could have sworn this was really Sing Sing.
There's our fancy metal detector.
There's my parade jacket that you see
That's
for
it.
the first
That's it,
time.
Was that actually yours?
Yeah, it was my jacket.
Yeah, when I said, yeah, wear stuff you can
But
duplicate.
what it is though this is the alternate jacket later because I don't know what happened to the original jacket, but it was duplicate. You know, had to make a devil of it.
You knew Matt Cordell?
Or many like that.
Now, here's your doctor.
Now this guy goes back to combat and other shows, as I recall. Always played a Nazi.
Yeah, he was the star of Raid on Rommel. Raid on that movie, I think it was Rock Hudson or somebody was in.
Did you say that this actor replaced somebody else who was supposed to play the part?
Exactly. Alan Garfield was originally to play this part.
And then the last day beforehand, he didn't want to do it anymore for some, or his agent didn't want him to do
Well,
it.
actually, what happened was apparently he had just read the script, or it was their ploy. But I got a call 6 o'clock in the evening from his agent saying that well, Mr. Garfield now wants 10 times more than what we originally bargained.
Oh wow!
And I said, why? He said, well, he looked at the script and figured on a major motion picture this would be a week of shooting. So he was entitled to get what he normally gets for a week.
I don't know any company that would take a week to shoot this scene. I mean,
Yeah.
No, that's absurd.
you know, maybe David Lean or somebody. But,
Those actors, Bill. What are you going to do with them?
I know, Bruce. Aren't you glad you've crossed over?
That's right. Now I can push them around.
I think before this goes on.
This guy was wonderful, though. He had a quality about him that really was
Yeah, it was kind of
interesting.
half quack. You know, he had kind of a quirky thing about him.
well, he looked like the kind of guy who wanted to spend his life in a prison or something as a doctor. She was a little made up for this scene, I thought.
Yeah, we both were actually. The makeup man said, "Okay, you've just come out of prison. You've had 2 days. I want you guys to both be looking great." But he got out the trowels and just pasted it on us.
Really?
Yeah, he took the bags out from under our eyes, and you know.
Yeah, well, she looked like she's ready to go out for the evening.
See, look, I never have this much makeup on in the rest of the movie, but this guy had some wonderful theory.
Yeah, look at her. She's all
she's all dolled up.
Yeah.
Now, you could totally believe him doing the scene over here as though somehow he got a hold of the body of Cordell after it had been hacked up in the shower, and it's a character.
You sure this guy wasn't your surgeon?
He hears a heartbeat. Now, Jay put a heartbeat in the track.
Here we go.
This is our musical heartbeat. Pulse. Musical pulse. Dum dum. There it comes. Dum dum. I think it's stereophonic heartbeat or something. It goes from left to right channel. For those of you with stereo at home, here it comes. There it is. This had been, in the old days, this would have been Lionel Atwill or somebody playing that role.
He had a lot of friends. Everyone knew if we put him back in the prison.
Look at that clock.
No, that was an original. Look at that.
So when they brought him up here, more dead than alive, a policewoman convinced me to do the decent thing.
Like remove him from the prison mortuary alive?
He wasn't exactly alive. He had severe brain damage. I was certain that he was legally dead. I was telling the truth when I signed that death
Here
certificate.
we get all
There's no way
the mumbo jumbo.
as a human being again.
We never bothered to try and explain how this guy kept getting up in future pictures, though. This suffices, right? The fact that they just shot him 22 times in the chest, and now we have had to go back and explain that he wasn't killed in the shower. It seems, in retrospect.
Well, that's what's fun about this. It's kind of like fun nonsense. It's a lot of fun.
No, but I mean, I'll buy it. It's as good an explanation as any, and since this is based on a true story.
Put him in prison and the inmates earned the rest. Now you're trying to ruin my life and my career.
We're not trying to ruin
You had me going there for a minute, Larry.
It used to be, it was a period in Hollywood when they used to put at the beginning of every movie, based on a true story.
Right.
Ever since Macon County Line, when that was a hit, it said based on a true story. Everybody thought, let's put based on a true story on every picture.
What are you talking about?
You know it's St. Patrick's.
It's St. Patrick's Day.
A little time.
Shameless.
We really know how to set up those sequences.
Subtle.
We didn't really do much with the St. Patrick's Day in this, though. It added a little bit of musical background to it.
Oh, this has got production value. Look at this.
But we didn't. We
Now,
didn't
Bill,
actually.
now watch. Right at the tail end of this, like across the street
Yeah,
somewhere.
there you are. You're running around the corner. I remember
Right,
this.
there I am, right there.
Yes.
Normally they would start zooming in, and right on the sidewalk there, and that's
Yeah.
the head of it.
This is the same guy appeared in with the kilts. Appeared in the other God Told Me To picture that I did, and it was shot 7 years before. And I guess he marches in the parade. There's your pal,
Sam Raimi.
Sammy Raimi, the great director.
Now, Sam Raimi, as I recall, is using a tape recorder in his pocket, and he's hearing his lines, and he's saying them a beat after he hears them.
You're kidding.
No, because we used to do that in Detroit on commercials if they gave you a lot of dialogue to say. So he had a lot of dialogue, and he didn't know, and I said, well,
See, there's the ear thing in his.
yeah, and he was using it like a commentator would use.
That's funny.
That's
I never knew
great.
that.
Yeah, that weasel.
Here's a cop drinking. That's
Yeah,
a
I
real
love
cop.
that. That's a great shot.
Now today, you probably have problems using footage like this with all the people being so willing to sue everybody.
Right.
Well, I think there's some kind of a loophole.
Now,
this
Bill,
was downtown Los Angeles.
that parade footage, was that shot exactly for the movie?
Yes.
Of course it was.
Yes. You were there.
Yeah, I was there, but I didn't know you guys got all those extra shots.
Oh, yeah. No, we ran around. We had cameras. We were running into the parade. We were doing everything we
I
can.
think the original hope was that you could have some kind of an actual chase through the parade after he gets away.
Well, that was you had the Hitchcockian idea that he's looking for the cop among the cops in the parade.
Yeah, well, that's the exact scene I did in God Told Me To. I just was trying to repeat it again. Here they
I like
come.
coming in on a scene where they were just telling some cheesy joke or something.
All right, everybody out of here.
God, I love Bill Smith. Look at that.
All right, so where is the son of a bitch?
He's willing to give himself up. After you listened.
Look at that face on him.
We know this now.
I know who committed these murders.
So do we, sweetheart. It's your boyfriend.
You're wrong. It's a man named Matt Cordell.
Lorene's good here. It's all right. This is
It was McCrae's theory. We verified
Are you on drugs?
Sweetheart, last night before McCrae was murdered, he called my house. I wasn't there. I was at a charity event, but he was kind enough.
now this bit of
Where was this shot? Down in
downtown Los
LA?
Angeles.
Yeah.
Now this right here.
I've got solid evidence. This homicidal maniac is getting information from
This was actually a message that Tom Atkins left on my answering machine because I couldn't fly him from Pittsburgh back to L.A. to
that's
do
hysterical.
the voice.
So you
So-
you brought your tape in? And then-
No, all I did was no. He called. I said, Tom, now call my machine at home
And tell me this.
and tell me these lines. And then after he finished doing the lines, he waited a couple of beats, and I remember it was around Thanksgiving. He goes, "Oh, and have a happy Thanksgiving, Bill." And then he,
You've heard of phoning it in, haven't you?
Exactly.
Oh man. And then you took that tape and brought it to the studio.
I
or
took,
whatever.
yeah. All I did was I brought my machine and brought it to the studio, and I played the machine on
great.
on an open mic, and we played it in.
Don't have to futz it or anything. It just sounds like that.
It's all there.
And I like the flag outside like that. That's very nice
doing this.
in the background.
You know I'm telling you
Now this guy over here, Rocky,
Yeah.
he's
He's been in some movies. This
yeah,
guy.
he's been in several movies. But it was interesting. My brother is an assistant DA downtown, and he was arrested for something. I don't know exactly, assault or whatever, some violent crime. And he had talked with some of the cops and said, I was in a movie called Mayneeak Cop. And they said, oh, we know the brother of the guy who made the movie, because my brother hung up the poster in his office. You know, you have the right to remain silent forever, Mayneeak Cop. And so my brother goes, you're not going to believe it, but one of your actors is down here under arrest.
So, did he get him out?
I don't know what happened, but it was kind of a funny story. Look at Rocky.
Now he's getting a little fresh, huh?
Opportunity.
Yeah.
Got an artsy shot coming up here, Bill.
Yes,
Very tastefully done.
I had these doors specially built at expense. It was no object. Look at that.
Oh.
I mean, it's kind of neat.
Here he comes.
Jay's great stings. Look at that.
All right, here we go.
Now the film's starting to get serious here.
Yeah, now it kicks into gear.
Why don't you put a real feather in my cap and lay it all out for me? The reason behind those killings was extortion money, wasn't it?
Money had
You hear the parade music in the
Yeah,
background?
right.
an act of vengeance against the city.
You know, the truth is, darling, I could use a collar like this one. Come on, win me the big promotion. Make me a hero.
If you're gonna put me under arrest, I want to see my lawyer.
You know, you got a real rotten-ass attitude. Fine, let's go. I'll take you downstairs.
Oh, he's going to handcuff her again. So once again, we have a handcuff gag.
That's right.
This is about the third or fourth one in the picture.
Now, Bill, coming up, this is I think the best scare in the movie. The actor did a good job of being very casual and disarming us.
I'm stuck here with you.
And this really, I think it really comes out of nowhere. When I first saw the screening, I went, yo!
I'm scared.
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
does
great.
work.
And then you cut right into his face. It's terrific.
That is.
It's a good scare. And movies like this, they really thrive on good scares, good jolts.
I know. You know what's funny?
Now you got to have a girl strong enough who could
Then
actually...
you got the crazy Larry Cohn sequence where the guy's dead and she's stuck to him, so she's got to drag him down the hallway.
She had to be strong enough to do it, too.
Right, right.
On the other side of the door is the dead body. She can't
That's
get through.
right.
Now she's going to go in this other door. In the meantime, you're across the street.
Yeah, that's right, picking my nose.
Now, I had problems with that door, I tell you. That was the only one this is one of the fights Bill and I had on the picture. I said, I don't like the look of that door. That door looks phony to me.
Oh, I see, because it's going to get destroyed.
Yeah, sure. But
It's a breakaway door.
I said, don't cut to that door. Keep away from it as much as possible. Just let him come right through it, because that door looks too fake to me. That would have been all right, because it was close.
She should have gnawed his arm off.
That was all right, because it goes so fast.
You know what the problem when they do these breakaway doors, these movie doors, is they never paint the insides of them, and you can always see that it's phony.
Yeah, this is good, though. This was for real.
Yeah. Good camera operating on Jim's part.
Yeah, it was
Followed that chair down.
People are going, there you go. That was all right, because it goes so quick. Now, this is where she really almost jumped off the roof.
Well, poor Spiro Rosatos was right behind her on a ledge to make sure she didn't fall off, but she didn't realize. I kept telling her, Lorene, it's a close-up. You don't have to fight so hard. Now watch, she almost fell off there. She almost fell off. She wasn't attached to anything.
There she is again. If she'd fallen off, she would have got up anyway, because she's tough.
There's one of your co-stars from Evil Dead 2, Danny Hicks.
That's right, Danny Hicks. Danny's made a career out of beating me up.
One twist after another. Now they've got you down there, and they're going to throw you in the van. And you're handcuffed again.
That's right. You got to get those handcuffs on.
Yeah.
This
movie is a handcuff fetish made into a feature. As a matter of fact, after we finish this session, I hope you'll take the handcuffs off me so I can go home.
Handcuffs, courtesy of Pleasure Chest. Imagine my prop people when they went and get all this stuff.
Uh-oh, look at this. Oh, God, there goes the maniac.
Now, this car over here, this ND car, is driven by the famous Buzz Bundy. And when we were doing this shot, he was supposed to only nick the car, and I didn't like the way it looked. So I finally had him smash it, and it cost me $3,500 to fix that car over there.
It looks
I wasn't
good.
supposed to crash
Oh,
it.
look at her coming down.
And this is the stunt driver / actor, Corey Eubank.
Which is another good idea, because this guy gets blown away later, so you might as well give him a part.
Exactly.
I think that's always made perfect sense to me. because then you don't have to go into that movie fakery when you kill the guy. You just kill that actor.
That's it.
exactly.
And also the guy's so happy to have the job.
Oh,
too.
heck yeah, he's willing to be there.
Also, I thought you did a great job here, Bruce, of selling this. We were over there rocking the truck, the paddy wagon in a studio, and you were having to fake this.
It was fun.
Great.
Yeah, it's very real.
That was such a great concept, and you sold it perfect. So all those Evil Dead stunts. Now, the POV shots from the truck were actually shot in New York City. We shot it with in real traffic.
You know what kills me? One shot you'll see when it goes around the corner, when the police wagon, you see a little water come out where the gas tank is. It's because they add an extra tank of water to stabilize the truck.
Ah.
Because when the trucks are top heavy, they add an extra tank in the bottom. And there's a shot, hopefully these Laserdisc people can grab it. When it comes around the corner, you see a little slosh.
Oh. I didn't even notice it.
Sounds like some gasoline.
Oh, there!
Well, let's keep your eyes open. There's one point.
Now, these are the New York POV shots. That's Spiro Rosato's driving the truck.
This is great.
We shot this about 6 o'clock in the morning.
And you just shot it, right?
Yeah, we just shot it. No permits, no permission. We just went out in real traffic. That guy if you play it back, there's a guy on who's closing his door to avoid getting hit.
Look at this.
Get the old pipe ramp going.
Spiro Rosato shot a lot of this chase scene. He was the second unit director on the picture. A great second. Look at that. Wow. Hot stuff.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in here.
Oh, this is New York.
This is New York.
This is the real New York stuff.
Yeah, this is the camera on the side of the car and side of the truck.
You know what's funny? When you cut it all together, you just don't know. You see buildings and streets.
You
and
get an
think, oh,
impression.
yeah,
Right.
New York. And you've got just enough New York footage in there.
I know, just look at that. Oh, Bruce, you're great there. I love it.
This is New York again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Bang. This is very good, Bruce, that dive there.
A little headbutt for you.
Whoa.
Hello.
That's Los Angeles. Of
Oh,
course.
yeah. That's I think San Pedro.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay, see, the water was slashing out of the
Oh,
right-hand side of
yeah.
it. That's for all you Laserdisc people.
All right.
All those close-ups of the hands on the steering wheel
Now,
and the pedal.
here was another fight you and I had, but I thought this chase was too long.
I think you're right, but I think that, and also I would have liked to have done this chase at night like we did in Mayneeak Cop 2, because I think this picture, it would have looked better.
It's okay now,
here
but
we
there
go.
were
This is
just
cool.
a few.
Okay, enter the stuntman. Hey, stop
That's
the car.
Spiro.
That was
Here-
Spiro here.
Yeah,
If
here
you could
go.
freeze it, that's Spiro Rosato's.
Bang, there you go. Whoa.
Good stunt.
I got him from you, and I used him as the stunt director on the ambulance.
Yeah, he did that great stunt where the ambulance goes into the
Right.
pit. This was a great location. I remember we did one day, Bruce, do you remember we did something like 50 setups in a day?
Yeah, it was a busy day.
We were just knocking the shots off, just bang, bang, bang. We had like a mountain of work to do, and we had no time to do it.
These locations are always, they look great, but when you actually have to shoot them, they're horrible because everything has like 40 years of oil and tar and, kerosene.
Buy yourself a pair of new shoes. After
Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly what I do. I always get I always get new sneakers after every time after I shoot a picture.
Oh, here we
the
go.
axe, look out.
You asked for it, buddy. And of course, he's still handcuffed.
Now, a lot of the close-ups here of the Mayneeak Cop were reshoots because after seeing the film cut together, we weren't happy with the makeup. And I think in the end, we still weren't crazy about the
I
makeup.
think we showed too much of him at the end.
Yeah.
But we can tell everybody to cut that out of their Laserdisc.
Well, now before I do a monster picture, I'm going to spend more time
On
designing the monster.
Yeah.
But it's a key element because once you cut to that big fat close-up, it's got to work.
I know.
Here he is. Now we're going to see him in a second.
I remember you, Bruce, wanting to do your own stunts.
I know because I come from
Yeah.
the world of Sam Raimi
That
where
was it.
he
That
makes
was
you
it.
do
That
everything.
that was the shot that I objected to. Was just too much of him on there.
There, those
Yeah.
shots. All those close-ups were shot
Yeah.
later.
See,
Yeah.
there was just too many of them. If we had just had one of them, we would have been better off. Just one, and then make them come back for more if they want to see it.
And here goes your
Because
cop.
he looked okay from the other angles. This is this shot.
That's a
that-
ratchet.
Yeah, but that was good. The medium shots of him. How did he get out of the handcuffs? Did you see?
Yeah, she got him out back by the boxes.
Oh.
He said, Therese, get me out of these cuffs.
Okay.
There were no story holes in
That
this
wasn't
movie.
that. That's a better look there. That was a better close-up from there. That was the best close-up that you just had there.
And here's Bruce doing.
And this is
Now this is where Bill actually sort of let me do something.
This is where
Was that actually you jumping on the truck?
Yeah.
I think maybe that was like the second day when I lost the stuntman.
Oh, there he is.
No, that was it. That was
Yeah,
the
that's
stunt
a double
guy.
there.
That was it. Now here you were
This
doing
was
the
fun.
fight.
This was the fun stuff here.
You went out with one of the cameras and did a bunch of this stuff. When we were shooting the pickup shots.
Right.
Did some of this fight stuff. Now here's
We got-
my giant stake in the heart.
Oh.
This was a spectacular
Now
stunt.
here's the stunt.
This is truly a great stunt.
Now that's Spiro Rosados. If you guys can play it back, that's actually a stuntman who was driving the truck from the outside. That truck had no engine in it, and it was pushed by another vehicle
There he goes, right in.
into there. And if Spiro had missed that ramp, if you play it back, that you'll see the pipe ramp that he had to put the.
He had to drive it, hit the jump, and then push away from the vehicle.
And he had to push at a certain point, or else he'd fall, or else the vehicle would fall on top of him.
Right.
Remember
And
that?
Bill, as I recall, there were about at least 4 cameras, maybe more.
Oh, yeah.
For this.
We had
I thought
5.
maybe 5 or 6.
We had even a camera inside the truck, which we had an IMO inside an
Right.
underwater housing. No, we covered that well.
It was a good-
it was a nervous day.
Very good stunt. And Spiro, most stunt guys get really...
Where's the palm tree? Is this coming up?
Oh,
that was our
no.
that was our biggest fight between Lustig and Larry Cohen, was that there was a palm tree in the background somewhere.
There it
is.
is.
And I said, you don't need this particular shot. You get rid of that palm tree in the background. It's supposed to be New York, not California. But
I guess now
couldn't-
they would just take it out digitally.
I couldn't get him. This was all right, but the palm tree. See, there's the palm trees over there. I said pick the shot up a little bit later, but I couldn't get him to do it. So that palm tree stays in.
You actually wanted to cut all the prints of the movie. They had struck the prints of the movie. I think there were like 100 and some odd prints that were made. And you said,
No,
Bill, we'll
no.
go in there and we'll cut the prints. I said, Larry, no one's noticing these palm trees. Now, this stuff over here we shot after we had filmed the stunt. That was the actual crane that brought the truck out because we had to pull it out. And we had to shoot this. I think we had 15 minutes to shoot this footage. You remember this over here, Bruce?
I remember
I
it
had a
being
race.
yeah, we just sort of did it.
Yeah, we had to run and do it. I think
Because you
the
could
sun
tell,
was down.
yeah, that it was lit. The interior of that truck, that quick
Yeah.
shot had some lighting on it.
Yeah.
And now you're going to see.
Look out, here comes
there he comes.
a hand.
Here we go, sequelitis.
He was
And-
just a little long at getting up there, I thought, but that's okay.
And he whistles to the end.
And now this is the credits.
Well, thank you for joining us. We had a lot of fun watching this.
What about that
this
extra
was great.
sequence at the end that you're going to put on there, the additional scenes that we shot for the Japanese version?
Oh, yeah. About a year and a half after we finished this picture, the running time on this film was 87 minutes, and for Japanese television, they needed 92. So Larry wrote 5 minutes of additional sequences, which we shot a year and a half later, and we're going to put that at the end of the Laserdisc for you. So
You'll see a couple of scenes that are not in the original version, but were in the Japanese version. And if you saw the picture in Japan, of course, you'll remember them.
And who did the Japanese pay for it?
yeah.
Yes, they gave us extra money to shoot those scenes.
Yeah.
That's how much they wanted the picture for Japanese television.
Wow.
As the picture did so well for them theatrically, and it was a big success. And it was so the second and third pictures, huge successes in Japan.
Wow.
Those are very good New York shots, Bill. I commend you.
And I'll say it again, that was not stock footage.
But today it is for somebody else.
For
probably.
somebody else's picture, that's right.
You know something? There was something else I wanted to point out. One of the things that was really interesting about this picture is the sound work and the post-production work on this. I thought was really exceptional. John Post, who had not he had basically been a Foley guy. I hired him to do the sound editing on this picture, and I think he really did an extraordinary job on it.
I worked with him as a Foley artist.
Yeah.
And then when I saw his name here, I thought, well, good for him.
It was really, he did a heck of a job on this. It was a tough job, and the mixers on this have since gone on to big studio pictures, like Days of Thunder and Crimson Tide. I see their names on there.
They always get their practice on pictures like this because
Right.
pictures like this are very ambitious and they usually are very busy and loud and noisy,
Sure.
and it gets them ready for it.
And I thought Jay Chataway's music was exceptional.
Absolutely.
For the picture. He did a
Well,
lot
that's
for us, and
I think it's evident by the fact that he was invited to join us.
yeah, and also by the fact that I hired him to do the ambulance. That's the best compliment you can give
That's
a guy
right.
is ask
That's
him to
right.
do another job for you. And
That's right.
he was
Well,
right there. So
If that's the case, Jay, we've done how many pictures together? 5?
5 or 6, yeah.
5 or 6
yeah.
pictures together.
Yeah, B&B, that's where we mixed it. That was like a
That's-
party. Every time we'd go in, Bill would say, let's turn this up some more. It was a great
Oh yeah, and
adventure.
Jeff and Greg were great because they never said no.
Right.
They just went for it.
They
Whatever
pushed
we
it.
wanted to do.
Pushed it
look
to
at
the
this
limit.
song here, "Walk the Floor," vocals by David Carradine.
Oh, right. That's
yes.
how. Remember how we got the source music, all the music that was in these
David
nightclubs?
Carradine. All these songs by Gail Jensen. That's Carradine's
Carradine's
wife.
wife.
Composed by Gail Jensen.
These were all,
Carradine music.
Right. These were all friends of Dave
Kern,
Dave
the
Kern,
editor,
the
who I-
the
who I-
editor.
this is the first time we
Of
worked
course,
together.
David edited the picture that Carradine directed, Americana.
That's how they met.
And that's how I got Dave Kern
Uh-huh.
originally for Q, was from David Carradine, who had hired him to do Americana. So everybody does things for each other. It's amazing
right.
how it
That's
is.
right.
It's great.
I can't wait to do something for you guys.